y'all? Welcome to another show, okay? We are back again, as always, giving you some real talk with real people, real conversations. And so today on Dear Future Husband, I have Pastor, photographer extraordinaire, okay, with
Marketing
me here.
genius. Marketing genius.
Oh, marketing. I'm sorry. Marketing genius.
Yes.
Sederrick Raphiel.
Thank
How
you,
are
man.
you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm excited to be on the show today.
I'm excited that you, and let me tell you why I'm so excited that you're here. We have these off-camera conversations,
Right.
okay, and we've had plenty of them since we've, first met about 2 years ago now. And this was something that I told you that I wanted to bring on to the set.
Right,
I wanted to
right.
bring in front of the people because I thought they were dope conversations. And as somebody who doesn't necessarily, I can't quote a scripture, right? I can't quote the Bible. However, our conversations, you still hit me with just enough to what I need to know without going over my head.
Right.
And so I wanted to bring that to the people. And so thank you so much for being on this show. I
My
appreciate
absolute
you.
pleasure. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes,
For those
sir.
who don't know, Bree and I, when we do talk, it's in a sort of a very real and authentic,
Judgmental,
space, and sometimes we get a little raw
Yeah.
in the conversation as well. So that's the part that we really can kind of connect to because it's the realness of the whole truth of the matter.
all of it.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it, I feel, extra dope, right? It's because of the authenticity and that genuineness, right? And so your segment is entitled Dear Future Husband, God is working on me to be a wife. Is he working on you too? Okay. And so what I wanted to get into was to talk about just marriage and what it means for God to be working on me to be a wife, what it means for God to be working on him to be a husband, right? Can you kind of touch on, what that entails?
Yeah, I think, the destination is always a space where I want to be with my partner. And I'm going to say partner first because I'm also not looking for a project.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? And so in that preparation that you're talking about, I need you to be doing your work.
Your work.
Yeah. And I'm coming to the table and I'm asking, not only how we get together, but also on other verticals in my life. I don't need your credit score to be 500. I need you to work on that.
Yeah.
Because it's things that we're going to have to do.
Yeah.
And I don't want that project on my plate if now I see all the things, because the very first thing is that, are you my type? Are you look like what I like?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that's when I start getting my information about you, diving a little deep. My precept on dating is exactly what the name says. I'm gathering data.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure
I like
out
that.
if it's
I like that.
dating.
I'm gathering data.
You're
Yeah.
gathering data.
Yeah.
If you meet somebody and they meet your criteria, how they look or shape or whatever that your criteria may be, but then once I start finding out about you, am I getting the data that I need to make sure that you're going to be my right partner?
Correct.
Or are you going to be my next project?
Correct.
And right now, I would assume in the phase of your life, you ain't looking for a project.
I can't.
Right.
I can't do another project.
So the presumption is then again, the law of attraction takes place. As you're doing work, the universe will bring you, and I say universe in a broad scope of God's whole system, his whole organization, that the man that God intends for you to be with will be doing the work as well.
Yeah.
And the scripture says, when a man findeth a wife, he finds a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, when he finds a girlfriend, or if he finds a project, if he finds this, you are a wife when I see you. Every man on this planet, and I don't care who tells you that, I can already tell what energy you flow in when I meet you.
Yeah.
If you're just going to be sort of a fling, or you're going to be something that, I might just be here for a temporary basis, or if I got to step my game. Every man, to include all the men in this studio, knows when I talk to you, if that energy is there, I'm like, man, I got to step my thing up. She's for real. She's serious. We can tell that.
Okay. No, that is dope. And so then what is it that, if I'm saying that I'm working on myself to become a wife, clearly that means the things like you just mentioned, getting my credit score together, right? Making sure that I'm in a space to where I'm not negative Nancy all the time, right? To where I can handle things that come my way and be able to handle them accordingly without having a complete emotional breakdown every time.
Right.
I get a flat tire, you know, making sure, like you said, my career is on point where I'm working towards the career, right? My money is there, or I'm working towards that, right? What else is it more so character-wise, biblically, do I need to be working on to become a wife?
That's a lot because, I hate to say it's a lot, but it can be a number of variables. So what you in essence have said is that you will be looking for the same thing that you are desiring to become. So as a husband, as you're looking for to have that right mate, you are doing everything that you want him to be, right? So he's going through the process and developing himself. He's has an emotional stability. You know, he's not one of those brothers that just go pop off, super every emotional, all these other things. And so as you are going to the destination of being a wife, what are those character traits? You know, you taking everything great that your mom was, your grandmother was. Hell, I don't care if you look at what was the Cosby Show? You know, the Sister Huxtable. You know, everything Claire. You know, you think everything that you have absorbed over your own time and space to what you ideally believe a wife is. And you determine and you start defining what that looks like for you. And at the end of the day, a lot of it, she has standards too.
Oh, absolutely.
Boundaries and standards. And so you just not having a open access to yourself. Wives don't have open access to every cat that turn around and can call and want to do all that other stuff, or they call in the late night hours, or, you know, kind of, there's a sense of priority with it as well. So that's the same thing. There's a, 7-Eleven says no shoes, no shirt, no service.
Right.
7-Eleven got standards. Why you don't?
Why you don't?
Right?
I like it.
I'm a brand specialist. Every brand has brand standards. And so if you're a corporation, just imagine this. You're a corporation and you're looking for a new CEO to sit on the board. He has to be somebody that can cover you.
You got to produce that resume, absolutely. And it has to be up to par.
Yeah, all these cats keep on talking about how they want a dime. Oh, man, I want a dime. But you can't cover no dime if you a nickel or if you a penny. You got to, the word of God tells you that your husband will, in I think it's Genesis 3rd chapter, you go down, God gave Eve a penalty of you will have pain through childbirth. You will have a desire for your husband. Here's the interesting thing about that. There's nothing in the Bible that says men will have a desire for a wife. Again, this is in penalty. And so here, an innate yearning to have the man of God. So you will have a desire for your husband. Adam, who was God's representative on earth, really was operating as God. So you will have a desire for a man that reminds you of God. He will provide for you, protect you, cultivate you, do all the things that you imagine that God would do. In the last component of that penalty, he says, and he will rule over you. Now, I know that
I love you. There's nothing in there that says that he will love you.
Well, yeah, you're going to love your wife. Yeah, the mandate is to love your wife like Christ loved the church. Right?
Okay, I've heard that.
But you need to understand the biblical definition of what love is too. Right? Well, see, I got this sweatshirt on. It says, I love you, but instead it says, I got you. Now, here's the interesting caveat. What we believe is love is not what the Bible defines as love. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-9 describes 8 things to do, 8 things not to do. So you got your to-dos and your to-don'ts. And the very first thing that God describes as love is to be patient. It tells you not to keep records of wrong. It gives you a whole list, and none of them got anything to do about your feelings.
No emotions anywhere in it. And I don't think
love is not described as emotional. It's described as a discipline. And so it's a decision that every day that I'm going to decide to be patient with you, that I'm going to be kind to you, that I won't disrespect you.
And that is love.
Even
all of that is love.
When I don't like you.
Yeah.
right?
I like it.
I can love you and not like you at the same time.
Yeah.
Now you and I are a couple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've been struggling, we've been arguing with one another.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't giving me none, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like you
Mm-hmm.
right now. But you leave out the house,
like you.
right? You leave out the house, you have a blowout on 635.
Yeah.
You call me.
Yeah.
What's your expectation?
That you come and
That you come and get it. So
Yeah.
here I come. I drive up behind, babe, jump in my car. You take off, do what you got to do. I'll take care of this.
Yeah.
Love brought me there.
Yeah.
Discipline brought me there, not my emotions. Because if I was really in my emotions,
Right. I'll be
yeah,
out on that.
you're going to be on the side of that road, right? So it's a
Yeah.
difference. And so one of the things that you want to do is making sure that you're operating in that space and your man is operating in that space.
Listen, Corinthians, that verse about love is kind, love is patient, love is kind, all of that. That's one of my favorite, verses out of the Bible, just because it does break it down. And I don't think I ever paid attention to the fact that it never included emotions in it.
Look in there. There's 16 components. None of them deal with anything about your emotion.
That's dope.
And to be honest, we've been in toxic relationships that are super emotional. And everybody you said you love, where they at?
Right. They're not here.
Right? God said, I'll never leave you or forsake you because he loves us so much. And it because he like what we doing.
Right.
9 times out of 10, we ain't doing what we supposed to be doing. Right? But he said, I'll never leave you because that's a decision. I just decided to love you. Period.
I like that.
Can your daughter do anything that will rob you of your love for her?
Absolutely not.
Because you just made a decision on it.
Right.
And that ain't got nothing to do with her feelings because she might have you snatch your edges out.
Right.
Right? So that's how it goes. Right.
That 9-year-old be
Right.
coming from
Right.
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 But you're right. There's nothing that she can do that will make me leave me or forsake her. There's nothing.
No, you just made a decision. And that's what you stand on.
No, I love that. Now, let's go back because you said something that I thought was really, it just, ding, right? So you said when we were talking about the characteristics of the different, me, the man, whatever, right? And you were like, you don't want him to be super emotional. Let's talk about that because I feel like people feel, or like men feel like they can't be super emotional. Like they don't have the capacity to be super emotional. And what I'm finding is that they're very more emotional than a lot of women.
I think especially in this day and age, we can be more, infused with those emotions than women in some cases. And the way I see it is that you need to manage your emotions. You don't want to be out here and put yourself in a position or say something that you're going to regret because those words you use, you can never bring back.
Yeah.
And so you manage it. The Bible tells you to be angry, but sin not. He's not denying who you are in your soul, your emotional space, but don't make it a sin. And so if I'm angry with you, I'm going to put them paws on you?
No.
Exactly. So now, but I can have an adult conversation and say, hey, let me show you something. Let me talk about something where you really challenge me in the space and I'm angry about it. And then now I can have a conversation to correct you in love.
Okay.
Which is in a distance, being patient.
Right.
So it's a correction in love,
Right.
not in my emotion. Because if I go off on my emotion, you better put your finger on 9, 1, and be ready with the other one, right?
Right.
So
right.
you definitely don't want that type of cat.
I like and that is just the fact that we're acknowledging that men can be more emotional than women. Okay. And like I said, that's what I've been running into a lot lately is that I've been running into super emotional men.
We're going to have to talk to that later because you're probably doing something.
It's not me. It's not me, y'all. But I've been running into something. I've been running into some emotional men that can't control it, right? And not so much that like they're putting hands on, not like that, but like it's like this blow up over minute things. Right. Very small issues. And me, where I'm at, when I'm dating for a purpose, right? I'm dating intentionally. I'm dating to see, like you said, how is it that we're aligned, and if we are aligned to move past the dating stage. And so when I'm looking at that, I'm looking at that like, okay, this was very small. You blew up and made this a big thing, and it wasn't that deep. And so, I don't know.
I think what guys got to realize, and certainly I had to come into a maturity to understand, guys are like the thermostat in your house, right? The thermostat determines the temperature.
Okay.
You come in hot, I gotta be the person to understand it. Let me cool her off a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? You come in cold. I gotta be the cat that kind of warms it up to do it. When I lose that space where I'm always saying, well, you did this and it made me do that. Well, I'm responding to you. I'm not covering you right. I got to be able to be that barometer to keep you balanced, right?
Okay.
I need to be able to keep you balanced, 10 toes down, and feel like you're in a great stable space, because when our emotions go up, let me help you balance it and get it leveled out. If you go down, let me help you bring you up. I can lift that. And then vice versa, right? I think men tend to respond to women, or they react to women instead of you being there and then having them react to you. So you in the relationship are more stable than he is. And so you need somebody who has some emotional intelligence that can handle you. Everybody might not be able to handle you.
Yeah. And okay, so you said a lot of great things. One of them is that emotional intelligence on both ends. The woman needs emotional intelligence, and the man needs emotional intelligence.
That's part of your preparation,
Right, and I feel like that's far and few in between. You know, for to find somebody who has emotional intelligence. Number one. Number two is that you're right. Like I like the fact that he should be the steady one, right?
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
He should be the steady one.
I think so. Personally, I think so. I take that leadership, you know. And I think when you fuse this now, part of the things you can't forget. The Bible tells you to respect your husband, to honor him, and him to love you.
Yeah.
Now, why is that important? Because if God is telling you to honor your husband, maybe it's because you have a problem with honor or disrespect, which is a key thing for us that'll send us into the outer stratosphere. Yeah. God is telling us to love you, because maybe we might have a problem with what love looks like: being patient, being kind, don't disrespect, not keeping records of wrong, not having ill intent, not being envious, right? Again, and so we have to learn that part. You have to learn how to honor respect. And what does that look like when we're having a conversation?
That's what I was going to ask
you. You know, because when you start getting real slick,
with the mouth,
with that mouth, and the only thing that does is speak to our lack of honor, lack of respect, and you already know what to do and what to say, you know, to send your brother out. And part of you want to challenge him to see if he has the wherewithal to stay in pocket and still put you under control.
See, that used to be my thing, right? To see if
test the water.
How far I can push you. Now, my thing is, like I said, just working on myself, because what I'm realizing is, me personally, this is my flaw. I'm gonna put this out there. What I'm realizing that I speak the way that I speak, and I'm very we speak, you know, and I'm very sarcastic. Very, you know what I'm saying? I come with it like it ain't, you know, it ain't too much of a lag, real quick. And that, a lot of men I find, they find that that's disrespectful. I responded too quick. So I'm like, how many seconds do I wait? Like, you know, so it's like things like, so now that's what I'm working on, is my mouth is slicker than what I thought it was. And just kind of toning that down and working on that tone down and what that looks like. Right.
And I think part of what people forget, like, I was raised in a certain space. You know, my father was born in 1919.
Okay.
So I have a different idea of what respect looked like. Some people had not had the opportunity to be with their fathers. So for every man you may date, there's a different determination what honor looks like to him. So when you hear the mandate, God says, honor your husband, but what does that look like in reality for me versus the other cat? Yeah. It might be two different things. Well, you know, I'm going to sit at the head of my table. Yeah. I want the big piece of chicken. Okay. I want my plate over here first, but serve me before you serve them kids. They don't work. What they can eat first. I need to get, you know.
I bought this chicken.
Right. Yeah, all that I got to do is you got to sustain me, because I got to go out here and slay these dragons and then come back over here. So why is the emphasis on that? So you got to determine what's honor to me.
But is that a conversation that you have, or is that something that you just pick up along the way?
No, you talk about everything. You know, you're an attorney, you're a counselor, you got discovery. In dating, you're finding out all the data. You know, if a cat is over here and trying to tell you he love you and he don't know your middle name,
that's a problem.
he don't know why you were driven the way that you were driven,
That's a problem.
why you started your business, and you know, and they don't gather the data, what it looks like to love you. He's not inquired into that space, how to love you right. You know, you want to, you know, the time you spend in and trying on clothes to make sure it's the perfect fit.
Looks good,
But you ain't doing that with your dude, and you ain't doing that with the potential wife. Nah, there's something, we got a problem with that.
You would be, maybe you wouldn't. I say you would be surprised, but I understand that you're a pastor and you have a lot of conversations with a lot of people. I have conversations with my friends, and I'll be like, well, we'll talk about certain issues that have happened, right? Well, have y'all ever talked about it? And they'd be like, no. And I'd be like, well, why? And now I'm a talker, so we're going to discuss, because I like clarity. I work off of clarity. And so I don't like the gray area because I don't, you know, like I may think that I should go left when you think I should go right, and now you mad because I went. You know what I'm saying? And so I like clarity, so I like to sit down and talk. But what I'm finding is that people don't talk. They do not talk. They just go with what they assume and hope for the best.
And so here's the thing. I'm never scared of conflict. As a matter of fact, conflict will promote the conversation. The conversation will promote the clarity. The clarity will promote the correction.
I like it.
You see what I'm saying? Why should I be mad that me and you have a disagreement while we're learning one another? And so now we get to that point, because uncommunicated expectations is the death of any relationship.
I like that.
But how would I know that this is what you're requiring of me, and then I don't do it, and then you give me a pink slip and say you can relieve your duties, brother? I appreciate you. We've been dating about 3 months, and you know. But what's the expectation? Imagine this. So I told you that you're a corporation, and you hire your dude. But you don't have any job description for him. So he shows up for work. First day, and he say, okay, great, I'm ready to get started. What do I do? He said, just figure it out. But then my review in 3 months, and then because you hadn't clearly defined what you're looking for in a relationship.
That job description.
So if you're looking for a husband, what does he look like? You know.
I like that.
But so when you don't know, you accept anything. So everybody who applying for the position,
get it,
who not qualified, but then they got to go through this whole process. And then we find out 3 months later, and a whole bunch of tears later, and a whole bunch of booty later. Can we say
not
that?
A whole bunch? Yeah, we can say it.
Right? Because you're going to be feeling a type of way. In my counseling, when somebody brings to me issues, especially as a pastor, they bring a lot of stuff. And say it's a female, and then she's telling me all these red flags. I said, well, it's simple. Let's just stop dating them. And then you get this, well, you see, automatically I know it's already been physical. When you haven't been physical with somebody, it's easy to let them go. But time you've given of yourself, now there's expectations with it too. Now we got problems, because now my investment in here, I got to get a return on my investment. I got to get him right.
That's the part.
Right?
That's the part.
But you're not doing your due diligence in the beginning.
That's the part. And I've always, when I talk to my friends and I have these conversations, and these are my female friends, right? And when I'm talking to them, I always tell them, what is your return on investment in this relationship, right? You're giving of yourself, and you're getting nothing in return. And he's not even trying to give you anything. He's just taking at this point. So when you pull your chair up to the table, and you sitting here and you're doing your pros and cons, and you're trying to see everything that you've invested in him, what is he giving back? And it is nothing. Why are we still here?
Right. Now, I got to do this for the fellas, if you don't mind. Because that whole scenario you just put together, that's how we feel too.
Okay.
I'm taking you on date after date. I'm paying for these expensive dinners because I'm trying to wine and dine you, show you a little bit of how I get down. You ain't never once offered to pick up one meal, right? And so now I'm investing. And then I look around, I'm giving out more. And then I'm not getting the return that I'm thinking. I'm not getting any extra support. I'm not getting the encouragement. I'm not getting the confidence building. I hadn't gotten any of that. And I look around and see it. what I suggest on both sides is that even if you give me your top 5 things that you're looking for, if you're interested in dating a guy, or if a guy is dating and interested in you, quick question. If he hadn't had any kids, are you open to having another child with him?
Ooh, right now? My window is closing. I would consider it. We would have to talk about what that looks like.
Part of that conversation, if he knows that he wants to have a kid, I need to know that up front.
And you should.
Right, because I shouldn't waste your time. If that's
and I shouldn't waste yours.
Right. In this season of your life, which you have full, determining how, because the destination you're trying to go, and that ain't in your cards, well, I need to know that.
Absolutely.
And I need to know that with less money spent
up
front. So I don't mind the hard questions in the beginning.
You should have the hard questions in the beginning.
I think so.
I don't know why people wait until date number 5. You done spent 4-5 months with this man, and then now y'all want to have these deep conversations, which I feel I always ask the hard questions up front, because I need to, like you said, I don't have time to waste, right? And I feel like he should be asking me hard questions too. But what I'm finding when I am dating is that I'm asking the hard questions and I'm hardly getting any questions back, right? And then again, when I'm talking to my female friends, there are no hard questions being asked by them. They just, I don't know. Is it just happy to be with somebody? Or, I don't know what that is.
My thing is, again, if you've done something one way and you still hadn't netted the results you want, maybe you ought to think about doing it in a different way. Okay. Right? I don't have any problem with that. It was when I was dating. I remember going out with this one girl, and it was a trip, because part of the conversation she asked me, I think this was when everybody was on down low and we had a big down low thing. She was asking me, she's like, you gay? And I was a little offended in the beginning. I was like, all this masculinity, all this stuff I'm walking in here with you. You don't see all this swaggle sitting up in here. And you had that, but that was a valid question. And I kind of chuckled. I said, that's an interesting question. So let me answer you. No. Never had, never, and it unequivocally, no. I said, but you asking the wrong question. So you ought to be asking, I might not emote as gay or identify as gay, but have I ever had sex with another man?
It is. The questions matter.
The questions matter.
Because there's a lot of men that have had sex with men, but do not say, themselves, there you go. If you ask them, they're like, no, I'm not gay.
Right. And then here's another one.
But the answer to that was no. The answer to that was no. Right?
Hell
okay, I just want you to clarify. The answer to that was
no. No. Okay, with a capital N or with apostrophe at the end. Is it apostrophe?
Exclamation mark, yeah.
Interestingly enough, in some of my marriage counseling, and these people who have decided to commit every tomorrow with one another, right?
Oh, every tomorrow.
When you get married, you're saying the word of God says tomorrow is not promised. But you going back to God say, but if I do get another tomorrow, I choose Bree. I choose him. Give me that, right? And when we're in counseling, I might ask a simple question like this. He's not there.
Okay.
Now this question for you.
Okay.
Ideally, in the perfect scenario of your marriage, how many times a week do you think it's good to have sex? And your answer would be, just give me a fictitious answer.
Oh, fictitious.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just unless you want to go ahead.
Okay.
What you think the average sister who's a mother, business owner would say would be
the average sister? I would say she would say 3 times a week.
Okay. Thank you. Now, I want you to switch the energy. I want you to emote as a brother right now. Right? All right? Feel it. Feel the testosterone building. Right? Now, bro.
I like this role play.
Right?
Okay.
Let me ask you. Ideally, a week, how many times would you like to have sex with your wife?
Every day.
Not only every day. How about multiple times a day before I get up and go to work? 2 times. So now you're telling me 14.
Oh, yeah.
Your girl just told me 3.
The math ain't mathing.
The math ain't mathing. And let me tell you what's going to happen eventually. Right? So in essence, what you're telling me is that I like put it in food. I like a steak and 2 sides. Every man does. Steak and 2 sides every day. But you coming home and fixing a arugula salad and some I got some seagrass, sea moss sitting up in here, and you put me on a diet. As soon as I get into the relationship, when I'm looking for 14, you're saying 3. Let's meet in the middle. All right, let's meet in the middle. Say that's what, 7?
7.
You doing more than you think you should, and he doing way less than he think you should.
Yeah.
And y'all in a relationship, y'all ain't never talked about it. And now I'm about to spend the rest of my life in this where I'm getting dissatisfied in my whole physical, sexual being, and you ain't never had the conversation. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's so much on the table that people don't talk about, right? You know, I need to ask you, you know, in the beginning of it, you know, what's your FICO score like? Oh, we ain't gonna be able to buy no house.
That part.
You can't get no car. We gonna be on the struggle bus.
Right. You gonna get your mama to have to sign for you?
Yeah, because she already know you. She'd already signed for you, and they ain't gonna sign with no more. So there's a ton of questions that if you're hiring in a position,
you need to be asking. Listen, I love that we're having this conversation because my friends think I'm crazy when I say that. I tell them all the time, they be like, you asked them? Yes, like what are we doing? Right. I don't have time to invest. I got too much on my plate. So I need to know where we're going. And then, like you said, everybody don't get hired for the position. Right. Not for the position. But
everybody applying.
Everybody applying, but that don't mean everybody get hired.
Right.
And I'm going through these questions and I ask, do you want kids? I'm the one who usually asks that because I need to know where, like you said, I need to know where we're at because I'm 42. I got a lot on my plate. My child is 9. I don't know that I want to start over again.
Let's push it further.
Okay.
What's your deal killer in a relationship?
Cheating.
Okay.
Yeah. We talking about already? Oh, before we get what is my in those list of questions before we get into the relationship? My deal killer would be you at this grown age and you still don't know what you want to do. I don't know. I don't know.
Still trying to figure out their purpose.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm gonna be a rapper.
Okay. At 40? Okay. All right. We're gonna have a problem with that, right?
I ran into that. I'm gonna be a rapper.
Really?
Don't.
Okay. No judgment.
Really?
No judgment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. At 43, 44.
So I posed.
They ain't started yet.
I posed a question because you really do need to have deal killers.
Yeah.
Of what you will allow to happen in your universe because it affects you.
Yeah.
Right. To stand by me just by sheer proximity, you're gonna catch some of the things that I'm dealing with, and if I have a chaotic core or things are just not in balance around me, you're gonna get swept into it.
And I don't want to be swept into it.
Right. So you need to ask some of those questions. And
some of the things. So then, not only is it the questions that are important to me to get right off top, but also I'm a vibe, energy type of person, right? So and I'm listening. So I'm picking up on your energy in person. I'm picking up on your vibe, and then I'm also not only asking the questions, but I'm listening to your answers because I think. There's a twofer for this, right? Not only are you supposed to ask the question, but you gotta listen to the response and then do follow-up. I'm gonna turn this up to the next follow-up questions, right? And some of the times what I'm getting is that the answers, they trying to answer good, but the math ain't mathing, and then when I ask you something else, it just don't match, right? And so
I tell you about this one occasion. I had been married. Got married young. She was 19. I was 21. Okay. We had kids. We had been together. Married 18 years. Then been together 20. And then when I started dating for the first time, I was an adult. I was in my 40s. Okay. And the divorce process was so emotional for me and felt like a failure, the whole nine, the other stuff. And so I was super critical, super hypersensitive of making sure I didn't make the mistake again. Okay. And there was one young lady in particular that said something that I thought was amazing. She said, I understand that you're single now. Before you get into another relationship, could we possibly try? And I thought that was real progressive of the sister. Closed mouth don't get fed. All right, cool. Interesting. Let's do that. Let's start dating because we had never really ventured into that space. Okay. One of the things, to your point, that when you start asking questions, but even the questions that you don't ask. So I would go over. Now, she's immaculate. she's well put together, always on point. When I see her, she's everything, T's crossed, I's dotted, the whole nine. I go to the house and I'm like, well, damn, right? I got to tip over this, tip over that. Oh, yeah, or, hey, can I get a drink of water? Yeah, just go in there and get it. And then, no glasses. They're all in the sink, or they're in, right? Their clothes washed and dried, but they on the bed. They not folded up. And I'm thinking, so this is how my house gonna look. Dope, phenomenal sister. But homekeeper, now I got showroom. You come to my house any moment, at any time of the day, and I ain't pushing nothing in the closet. Over this one, I'm playing hopscotch, trying to get around the room. And I was like,
that's a deal breaker.
For me, it was. Yeah. And it was little things like that, but way that you could start evaluating. And ladies, let me make sure I tell you this. You are getting vetted every minute. Up until the moment he put that ring on your finger, you're getting vetted. You might be saying that about the brother too, but I'm telling you, he's still looking at every moment. So don't think you won.
That you made it.
Right? Because
y'all been together for 6 months.
Nah.
Don't think you made it.
You still getting vetted. Still getting vetted. I'm trying to still see if we on point and you consistent, right? You want to see some consistency over there.
I like that. You know what I don't like? When I meet a guy and he says that he has a child, like a young child, and then spends no time with the child.
Right.
There's no, like, at what point do you go pick up your child?
You speaking without saying a word. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You ladies, I already know how y'all do. You meet somebody, they attractive, they look the spot. First thing y'all do is vet them. You go to Instagram. You're looking up to see if they got kids, if they have a relationship with their kids. You're looking up all their social media, looking up anything you can find because you vet them here. And then during the dating process, you give your heart. After you've given them your head and your heart, booty follow. Right? Men do the opposite. Men bet you ever hear that Kevin Gates song? One of my people at, one of my boys at the Kevin Gates, I'm thinking, okay, DJ ought to know which one I'm talking about. We go from south to north. We sensualize and sexualize on that lowest vibration that you have, because you three-part. You triune like God. You are flesh, soul, spirit. Okay. You trying to meet up here. He's meeting down here. He's going the opposite direction. So he always, most of the conversation is fueled with sexuality and you fine and let's get together and stuff like this.
At night,
right?
Ain't no restaurant.
He never really gave his heart, and he sure ain't thinking about you every day, right? Y'all do it the opposite way. And so in the space, you have to start looking at those intangibles, because you looking for it. Is he gonna make a good father to my children?
A good husband.
How he act and treat his mama, right? What does his friends look like? What is
he a provider?
Sphere of influence?
Right. Can he provide? On what level can he provide?
Right.
Yeah. All
and
that.
So you trying to get all that information. Men on the other side are trying to figure out things about you too. Is she a good partner? Is she gonna represent me well? Right? Is she an encourager? Every man, game. Let me put y'all on game, sisters.
Come on.
If there's one thing that you need to do, is flow in admiration. What my men in the room at? If there's one thing you do, I'm gonna tell you how you kill it.
Okay.
Admiration. Men need admiration like we need oxygen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The whole world is telling us who we ain't.
Yeah.
And then I got to come home and then you keep telling me I ain't do this right and I ain't do that. Well, tell me what I did do right.
That's right.
And so when you don't have a place for a man that you feel admired, like you a superhero, then they going to lose their interest. So you always, even in those spaces that you might be a little discouraged with them, always find something to kind of lift them up, right? I'm going to make this spiritual.
Okay, come on.
God created us to do what? Basic answer. Praise him. All right. Scriptures also said I was made in God's image and his likeness.
Okay.
I'm made in God's image and likeness. And you don't think I need some praise? You don't think I need some admiration? Some adoration? Well, I don't want you to blow your head. Your head already big. All right, make it bigger. What is you playing? Nobody else is telling me this.
Right.
I ain't doing it on my job. You know the struggle of a black man.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me my queen can't lift up her king?
And it could be something simple as,
boy, you sure barbecue that meat, boy. You sure
you have the best barbecue hands down. I've never tasted anybody's barbecue that tasted as good as
Come
yours.
on now. And so little Hercules sitting over here like, come on.
But that goes a long way.
It is about relationship because we got to make sure it's sustainable from A to Z. And this is what you do on a daily basis. You can, because guys get starved for it. Then I'm looking out, he ain't working out. He ain't tight, but in time, Michael B. Jordan on the screen, you swooning. Oh, Michael.
Like, but girl, this dude sitting right here and you ain't say nothing.
Michael ain't paying none of these bills up in this house.
That part.
You better
don't know your mama. Don't have to deal with us. Don't have to deal with you.
Better teach them.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it could be little things. Oh, you look nice. You so handsome. Mine is puppies. You so handsome, puppy. You smell good, puppy.
5'7", I just got 6'7", just like that.
It's small things.
Yeah, you do it. But to kind of go full circle to your original question, am I doing the work that you are doing? First and foremost, are you doing your work? And you'll be able to tell me if I'm doing my work because you are doing yours.
You've done yours. You can recognize it.
Yeah, you can recognize it.
You can recognize it.
And so the thing about it is that, you will draw to you the law of attraction. That's God's immutable law. The law of attraction. You will attract who you are. Okay. So you can always tell, right? I can always tell how people are, how they are spiritually.
Just upon meeting or a couple of conversations?
Well, just how their energy goes. Because what you do in the natural, you automatically replicate in the spiritual. So if you're a little selfish and a little self-centered in the natural, trust me, you're doing the same thing to God, right? Okay. If you don't know how to communicate and you ain't praising God, right? And if God is important, that relationship is important. If your dude ain't going to church and you inviting him to your church on Sunday, we got a little low-key problem. He ought to be inviting you to his church, right? Because a man's supposed to be a priest in his own home. Okay. Here go a little test I did when I was dating. And then this is, ladies, let me help y'all out.
Please.
I had been going out with this young lady, and on one occasion, I asked her, why don't you go ahead and pray over the meal? She's like, oh, no, you pray. You always pray. I said, yeah, I do. But, I'm just, why don't you go ahead and pray? No, Sederrick, no. I said, babe, it ain't nothing but some chicken and some broccolini. Go ahead and pray. You can't pray over that? Now, how you going to pray for me when I'm going through? And you can't pray over this damn chicken?
And it's broccolini.
And little mashed potatoes, baby. It's just.
That's deep, though. I would have never thought about it like that.
What she does here, it ain't like she gonna start up and like, let me pray the paint off the walls. It ain't gonna like she can't pray here. She ain't praying
for you
when I'm really going through, right? Okay. So little things like that. The bruh can't do that. The bruh ain't going to church. It's because his relationship is not there. So when you have problems with him, who you gonna pray to influence him? The Holy Spirit ain't moving him. He don't know the Holy Spirit. He don't know. Right? So how can he be moved by something he's never moved by?
That's deep. Listen, look, this one right here.
Come on.
This is Come on. Come on with it. Listen, we this was an amazing conversation, and unfortunately we have to kind of wrap it up. But before we do, first of all, let me thank you for even dropping these gems that you have dropped, because you don't know how many people that you just have.
I hope so.
You know what I'm saying? So there's that. Second, we want to sow into you. So how can we get some more of this good word?
Wow, that's a great question. If you are looking for a church home, the ministry is called The Harvest. You can look us up at theharvestministry.com. You can look me up online, contact me there. It's it's all about relationship. That's the tagline for the ministry. It's about relationship, not religion.
Okay.
And,
I like that.
Yeah, I just got to build a relationship, and nobody's tripping on anything. We come as we are. We just meet in these vulnerable places. I ain't got no heaven or hell to put nobody. And so our conversation, how we get there. So we have real, authentic, true conversations.
Real
and
talk.
so just look me up. Look me on the phone line. I'm sure that they'll include some of my handles on the segment, I hope. So just look me up that way and hit me up.
And then how do we, for those that also want your photography skills, how do we get that?
sraphiel.com. sraphiel, RAPHIEL.com.
Okay. So y'all make sure to listen.
Those dope shots that you see of Bree.
All those. That's
9 times out of 10 is me.
That was him.
Thirst Trap on 1000.
You get on my nerves. Those dope photos are him. The one with the black dress and the candy aisle, that's him. The one in the New York hat, that's him. So if y'all seen any of my photos, you follow me at all, this is my photographer.
New stuff coming too.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Make sure you follow him, contact him for your photography needs. Also contact him if you're looking for a church home, or just come to church. Yeah. Come to church. Where's service at? What's the address?
1409 Botham John Boulevard at the South Side on Lamar.
And that's in Dallas, Texas, y'all.
75215.
All right, so make sure you are following this brother. Make sure you are coming to church with him. Make sure you're calling for your photography needs. And then make sure that you are liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing to Dear Future Husband. Y'all, this was gems upon gems. He done gave women the key. You understand what I'm saying? So make sure that you are showing this show love, this channel love, and of course him love. And I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I appreciate you for being here.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Sederrick. All right, y'all. I'll holler at y'all next time. Bye.